Joe Rogan podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Welcome back to the podcast. And today I have Deli Bright, a researcher from the University of South Florida. You will be talking about how androids are progressing faster than expected. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Thanks for having me, Joe. The reason we're talking about androids now is because of the huge impact that generative AI has had in the field of robotics. What it's allowing us to do is essentially put a brain inside of these androids that you're seeing, and it can learn how to replicate human behaviors and tasks. And the reason this is important is because if you have an android that can accurately replicate those, you can put it into any physical labor job that there is. Think of this as like a warehouse worker or EMS or elderly care. An android would be able to do it easily. And generative AI is what's being used to teach these robots how to perform these tasks.
Yeah, I heard Elon in a presentation say that it could be the biggest product ever. It's crazy. So what specifically is being done with the AI to make these robots real?
Like I said, these generative AIs are being used to basically put a brain in the androids to understand and communicate with us. These generative AIs are run on large language models, and what those do is essentially allow the android to understand human language and recognize everyday things like faces or objects, and then respond appropriately to those inputs. This is what we already see with our chatbots like Gemini or ChatGPT, so it's realistic to expect that in the androids themselves. For example, have you seen Figure 1? This is the android that OpenAI is working on, and what it can do is hold simple conversations or respond to visual cues. In a tech demo from last year, you could see it responded when the guy asked for food, it picked up an apple and handed it to him. And when he asked it to put away the dishes, it was able to do that as well. And this is huge because it represents how close we are to being practical with these androids. It's representing a practical use for them instead of just being like a fancy toy.
So these will be running on the same AI we use in our chatbots? Tell me a little more about what his set's doing under the hood.
Personally, my favorite way that these androids are being trained right now is with teleoperations. What this is where a person is wearing a motion capture suit and usually a VR headset, and their motions are being mapped directly to a physical robot. And as the robot moves, its motions are being cataloged into a huge database of motion. And what the AI does is it goes through and learns and develops a model for how humans move. Essentially, it is watching and learning. The biggest game changer, though, is AI simulations. NVIDIA, for example, has Isaac Sim. This is like a sandbox for these androids. It's a hyper-realistic 3D environment where engineers can teach the robot motion, object manipulation, and generally how to interact with the world. In an AI simulation, the robot is tasked with a motion or a movement, and if it fails, it uses that in the feedback for the next attempt until it has progressively gotten perfect. Teleoperations was watch and learn. This is practice makes perfect. And it's already come a long way. At least some of these robots are more capable than you and I. I know I can't do backflips like in some of these demo videos that they're showing here. But what's really important with these AI simulations isn't backflipping robots, although that is cool. The important part is the huge benefit to safety and cost. We can run an AI in one of these simulations hundreds or thousands of times until it's perfected some behavior and then transfer that straight into the physical robot. With that, we're not really running the risk of destroying some expensive piece of hardware or even hurting somebody.
It feels like in 10 years, we went from Roomba to Terminator. This is going to change the entire job market. The entire world really.
Yeah, that's the idea. The world right now is being reshaped by this technology. And those who understand how AI is being applied in their field are the ones who's going to be leading this tech revolution. We shouldn't fear AI and let it take over the world. Instead, we should be using it as a tool to reshape it ourselves.
Joe Rogan podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast.